Hello everyone. Welcome to Club Prairie Fire. No, it is not the Professor. It is Adam Gilchrist here, not of F45 fame, but a washed-up old cricketer fame. And no Professor here. He is away, of course. Club Prairie Fire, the home of Tequila Tabasco and the Duckworth Lewis Stern system, as he likes to say. But the Professor, after a very, very long, in fact, the longest podcast ever with Glenn Maxwell, the Professor is cramping up. He won't be with us. He cannot move off his bed. So I'm going to fill in and try and steer this rudderless ship in the right direction. Now, we know it's a quick turnaround from our last podcast. We don't want to saturate the market. We don't want to overburden you all with viewership or listenership, if that's such a word. But this man, this guest that we've got today was available and we couldn't miss out. But before I get to the guest, I'll intro our usual contributors. First of all, former England captain who's trying to get that name deleted off his Wikipedia page, given the way England have gone in this tournament. But Michael Vaughan, where are you, Vaughany? Where do we find you?
Yeah, I'm still in Mumbai, guys. I'm just recovering from a night at the Willingdon Club, actually. Our guest will tell us all about the Willingdon Club, but I got locked into the pub for the first time of the trip, so I'm a bit dusty. So
Shock me. Yeah, all right. Well, we'll see how that plays out. And Ollie, our erstwhile producer, he does keep us in the right direction. How are you, mate?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, in Sydney, and now I know why Vaughan's asked for a later start time. Bit dusty, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, look forward to hearing that. Okay, we're not going to waste too much more time to get to this superstar. He is an Indian cricketing superstar. He have 80 test matches, over 3,800 test runs, 11 test centuries, 151 poles at an average of 40. So we'll get to that. I'd like to be interested in what happened there with the old average with the pill in hand. But not only was he a brilliant man on the cricket field, he is the leader of the commentary team, both BCCI, ICC, whatever the event. If it's on, this man is there. Now, and this is, I've just got to read this. I've got to get this right. This is Cricinfo's description of this great man in his little bio. For over a decade, Ravi Shastri rendered sterling service to Indian cricket as an obdurate opening and middle order batter, a left-arm spinner integral to the attack, and a long-time deputy to a couple of captains. Now, here's the kicker. Tall and good-looking and with an image to match. Shastri was glamorous in an age when few cricketers were. And I can promise you now, nothing has changed. Here he is, Ravi Shastri. Welcome to Club Prairie Fire. And the image you're upholding, for those that can't see it, that are just listening, sitting there, beautifully groomed as always, and the trademark Oakley sunglasses on. Mate, thanks for joining us. Wonderful to chat. And as the World Cup gets to the pointy end, and your mob are unbackable favourites, they're obliterating everyone. That country of yours must be in this expectant euphoria and frenzy.
Hello, guys. Great to be on this podcast. Vaughan, Gilly, Ollie, all there. And I know it's rocking and rolling, this podcast. So I said, may as well pitch up and see if I can join the party as well. But this country is going mad. There's no question about that. You know, the last time they won it was 12 years ago. And, they have an opportunity here now to do it again. And the way they played, one would imagine this is probably their best chance. And the reason I say it, if they miss out this time, they'll probably have to wait another 3 World Cups, even thinking of trying to win it, because the pool of players are such, they're at their peak. 7, 8 players are at their peak. And this could well be their last World Cup. And the way they're playing at home, given the conditions, I think they've got the team to win it.
Ravi, thanks for joining the podcast. If there was ever a T-shirt to match the man, that's the T-shirt that you're wearing.
No, this is Bob. Actually, Bob. He's my favorite. Nowhere near that, but he's the man. And his movie is coming out now, so I'm looking forward to it.
The big question is the glasses, Rav. Is it because it's bright in that magnificent apartment that you're in Mumbai, that you've hosted me on a very nice occasion, or were you in the Willingdon Club last night and I didn't see you?
I might have been in some club, but it definitely makes you look brighter. It definitely makes you look a lot brighter, and very, very healthy by the look of
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Vaughan is a bit pale.
yeah, Rav, just on India, this bowling attack, it's extraordinary, isn't it?
It is, and it's taken time. It's not. It didn't come overnight. They've been playing with each other for almost 4 5 years. Siraj joined the party maybe 3 years ago, but the fact of the matter is they've smelt the coffee. They know that they're at their peak. As bowlers, they know the kind of areas to hit on a consistent basis. They know it's not important to look flash in the way you bowl. It's more about consistency and getting the ball in the right areas. If you've seen in this tournament, between the three of them, there are hardly any bounces. If there is a short ball, it is well used. It's used as a surprise weapon, and it will be used against certain players. But on the whole, 90% of the time, it's getting targeting the stumps like you must do in India, hitting those three-quarter lengths on a regular basis. And because of the seam positions and their skill sets, they're getting the ball to nip around and causing a lot of problems.
Yeah, Rav, it's a good point, and I'm wondering, are they the best ever for the country, particularly in this format, or is it just because there's been suggestions, and I believe Michael Vaughan is a supporter of this theory, that they get given special balls to use different to the rest of the tournament? They've got remote controls in it.
Gil,
I mean,
Rav,
trust
Gil.
Wani coming up with that.
No,
Next he'll say there's a chip inside the ball and
Yeah,
controlled from the outside. So as
that's
Shami is
it.
running in, his fingers will twitch and it will tell him it's going in or out, or
Rav,
things
can
of
I
that
can
sort.
I can I
Go on,
jump in?
Wani.
Gilly has just met. I've not been. I'm just backing up. I'm not backing up. I'm just giving the information of a pundit in Pakistan, Hassan Raza. Has been quite strong over the last couple. He's saying that he believes that when India bowl, they get a different batch, and not only that, he believes the BCCI are controlling the technology for when India.
Good job. Good job. He's there. Let him stay there. With
Yeah.
what he's talking is a whole load of cock and bull. To be
Oh,
honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I've got to qualify
And
my
then he'll come
statement.
and say, when Jadeja bowls, it goes at certain revolutions. And then when
Yeah,
Kuldeep comes on the other side, there's another piece of technology on the other side of the ball
yeah,
that makes the ball go the other way. You know, I mean that's all crap. But
oh,
coming straight up, it is the best attack. I would
yeah,
say I have seen in 50 years, ever since white ball cricket started for India, because of the variety. You have Jasprit Bumrah, who's a freak. The way he bowls, his release points. The way he just ambles to the crease and delivers every second ball at 140 plus. Is not real. And then you have Shami, who's a master when it comes to seam presentation. And there's Siraj, who's feisty, who's got the energy. He can get under your skin, and he's a slippery character. And then, of course, you have Jadeja, peak of his prowess, and Kuldeep, who's improved like leaps and bounds in the last couple of years,
yeah,
especially the trajectories he bowls and the skill sets he has, especially if the ball is turning. So when you look at that attack, it has every box ticked for all
yeah,
conditions. It doesn't need conditions. It doesn't need a pitch. They will adapt to the conditions, and they've got the experience and the skill sets to adapt. I think that is the key where they have improved over the last couple of years as opposed to the last World Cup to now is the ability to adapt to different conditions, almost like this. If they have to pull back their length a foot, it's like this. You don't have to tell them. They know after a couple of deliveries, what sort of pace is there in this pitch, and they'll do it accordingly. So, which makes me believe it is the best.
yeah, yeah. Beautifully described. And I've got to qualify. Vaughany wasn't an advocate for that theory. I just thought I'd take a cheap shot there. But Rav, very quickly, you mentioned about the discipline of the bowling attack, the lack of short ball to have the surprise element. Who controls that planning? Is it that bowling group, or is it what I think and what we've all agreed on this podcast is the wonderful leadership of Rohit Sharma through this period, and particularly in this tournament? He has been exceptional.
Outstanding. I think it's a combination of both. These guys have the experience, but Rohit will take no nonsense. If they try and be flash and try too many things, he'll be in their ear straight away. Cut all this nonsense. I want you to keep it there and be consistent. So you can see that discipline where it comes from. I thought he's marshaled his resources extremely well. He's been an outstanding captain in
Yeah.
this World Cup. The way he doesn't allow two spinners to bowl in tandem too long. There's always a mix between pace and spin, for short spells, so that as a batter, you don't get into any sort of rhythm. You don't know what's
Yeah.
coming up next. You can't plan. You can't target a certain bowler. Who you might expect a certain guy to come on after 3 overs, and you say, I'm going to target him. You don't see him for 10 overs. So your plan goes out of the window. So he has been extremely proactive as a captain, and he's someone who's at you all the time. He doesn't allow the game to drift. He's not the kind who's instinctive and is excitable. He's someone who has plan A, B, C in his pocket, and
Yeah.
and he has the composure, the patience, and the calmness to go about his job.
Yeah. About that, I want to talk about his opening partner, Shubman Gill. He's just gone to number one in the rankings ODIs, overtaking Babar Azam. And Vaughany does have a theory that is his, because India, they're putting some runs on the board. And Vaughany says Virat Kohli, he cannot be considered a great until he gets a ton on a wet Tuesday night in Yorkshire. Now, how good could Shubman Gill be? And will the 24-year-old ever get a ton on a wet Tuesday night in Yorkshire?
He will. I think this guy's, for many, when I was in Australia as coach of the Indian team, I said at that time, this is one of the best young players in the world. Today, I say he's one of the best players in the world. He's no longer, I don't have to qualify as young. He's one of the best players in the world. And I think if there's one tour he would want to go, one is right. It's England, where whatever that exposure will stand him in good stead, because England's different. If you see Virat when he started, Shubman when he started, they play with hard hands. They like bounce. They like the ball coming onto the bat. You look at their grips and they're good cutters, they're good pullers. They can smack it on the up. But when it comes to the moving ball, you got to play a lot later. The hands have to be a lot softer. And the fact of the matter is because they've played international cricket at such a young age, they've hardly played domestic cricket. When you play domestic cricket in India a lot, playing swing bowling or playing in England is very much like playing spin bowling in India. It's playing late, allowing the ball to come onto the bat. The ball turning away from you is much like outswing. You hit in the direction of the turn, or you go try to play across, you're in trouble. So it's a lot of similar factors, but you got to play. You got to back those 30, 40, 50 overs against genuine quality spinners on turning tracks. Similarly, when you go to England, you got to spend some time at the crease. The front foot game becomes very important in England. Your stride, how how far forward you can go and how late you can play, which is not easy. It's only when you go there and you're exposed to that kind of bowling will you learn. So, and he's only 23, 24. So he's got
Yeah.
a long way to go. If he gets in any of these conditions, even in England, he might have to fight it out or guts it out for an hour and a half, say before lunch when it's cloudy. If the sun comes out after that, if Gill is batting 30, he'll be 100 plus, after
Yeah.
tea. Yeah,
Rav,
yeah, guaranteed. So you have to play those conditions. That's the maturity that will come only when you're there.
yeah, Rav, you've played a bit of league cricket. You mean obviously
Yeah.
played for Glamorgan, but you've played in the leagues up north, haven't you?
Yes,
Who
yes,
did you
I
play?
played, and it was a great experience because I played in Morecambe, and we had some great pros, in that area. You had Franklin Stevenson playing. You had almost every team had a pro. Javed came for Preston later. Collis King was in one of those leagues there in the Lancashire League. Plus, he played for Blackpool, for some time. There you had a lot of very very good players, and it was a tough
There
league.
you go, Ravi. You're just
Oh.
backing up my point. You cannot
Yeah.
predict the great until you've got until you've got a ton in the leagues up north. You
Yeah.
can't predict the great.
Yeah, the Northern League. I played in the Northern League, and it was a good league. You had good teams. You had Chorley, St. Anne's, you had Netherfield, Morecambe, Blackpool, Preston, you name it. But it was good fun. Great days. It was good fun, and it's only after that we toured England. We beat England 2-0 in '86, and then I went into county cricket after that.
Franklin Stevenson on a Tuesday night on a sticky. That's a
He
nasty
had
one,
one of the best slower balls you will ever imagine.
yeah, the famous
And
one
the
at
way it
Lord's,
came
wasn't
out,
it?
loopy stuff that came out, he had guys ducking, those
Yeah.
deliveries. And one or two guys where the ball has gone under, when they're ducking, it's gone on top of them and hit the stumps, under them and hit the stumps. I mean, how he couldn't play for the West Indies for some length of time just shows you how strong the West Indies were in the 80s. I mean, he could
Yeah,
bat, he could bowl, 2 consecutive seasons, 100 wickets, and the double for knots. I mean, and then could not get into the West Indies team. So
yeah.
that's the quality of cricket you had.
Yeah, Rav, obviously the big kicker of the tournament at the moment is Glenn Maxwell. That remarkable innings the other night in your hometown under extreme duress, in extreme conditions. So it got me just thinking a bit about some of the more famous games that had similar type conditions or where players were fatigued like that. And of course, it's the 1986 Tide Test where, from an Australian point of view, Dean Jones, another Victorian, flat out on the ground, vomiting, everything, had a bug. It was crook as, sweating, but managed to get a double ton. And I revisited the test, mate. So I'm just wondering, obviously you played in that test match. Dino, 210, but Ravi Shastri, 47 overs in the first innings, 62 with the stick in the first, 14 overs in the second innings, and then 48 not out off 40 pills going for the win on day 5. Two questions. Where's been the most extreme conditions you've ever played, and also, is there any chance of contributing to a test match? Because I don't reckon you didn't do enough in that game, mate, in extreme conditions when blokes were dropping like flies.
I was there all 5 days, and I'd come straight off county cricket, so from
Yeah.
Cardiff to Chennai. Okay, Cardiff to Chennai,
Jesus.
right? And from
Similar.
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
really good bitters, the Welsh bitters, to the the proper this thing, and then you come there and you're drinking buttermilk. You couldn't eat
Yeah.
anything because the heat. It was so hot, and I was all 5 days on the field, and it was very humid. It's one of the toughest months to play in September, October in Chennai, and it tested every player. And Dino, I mean, hats off to him because he was puking, he was cramping, but he had one tough nut at the other end. His
Yeah.
captain. AB
Yeah.
would not take any crap. He would just get under his skin and say, "Come on, you softy, get on, man, get on. Play. Well, this is proper man's game. Play." And it really got Dino going, and he
Yeah.
started batting better and better. He was more fluent. He took his chances, much like Maxi the other night. When you're not 100%, it starts making you think differently. It starts making you be a little more fearless. It starts making you play shots that you might not think you can play. It's because of the circumstances and because a change in the mindset, simply because how you are physically. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened to Maxwell the other night. When he knew that he was pushed into a corner where he couldn't run between the wickets, and yet he had to go for the target. What he produced was something extraordinary.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt
Ravi,
about it.
would you have that as the greatest one-day innings? I certainly have it from the kind of the games
It
that
would
I've
be.
seen.
I mean, in the modern era, even when you go back, it's very similar to the innings Kapil played for us in 1983 when we won the World Cup. We were
Yeah.
17 for 5, and then I think we were 30 for 6, and then he got 175. And this one against all odds, 91 for 7 against a top class spin attack. Where the chips are down, and then to be striking that consistently for that long a period, it has to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest innings, in one day cricket.
Oh, I think so. I'm actually still just reflecting on your going from Cardiff to Chennai. That's sort of something along the lines of going from church to the Willingdon Club. But I know very quickly. I know Ollie, you got to get to a quick segment from Playbook. But Rav, on the back of that question from Vaughany about that innings, just quickly, where do you see ODI cricket then? Where do you see it sitting in the landscape?
I think you have to evolve. Changes have to be made. It's like when we won the World Cup in '83, it was a 60 over game. It changed
Yeah.
to 50 overs. You got to evolve with the time. You got to see the attention span of the spectator. It's
Yep.
diminishing. So I think the way forward would be a 40 over game, which would still keep the one day game very much on par with the other formats of the game, because I see it with the crowds. They buy their ticket, they wait to see what's happened at the toss. If their favorite team is batting, they rush to the ground. They will watch the game. They will watch 10 overs or 15 overs of power play of the second innings, and they're off.
Yeah.
They're off to see the game somewhere else. If it's the other way around, or it's too hot, India batting second, I'm going to reach the ground at 5 o'clock to see the last 10 overs or 12 overs of the first innings, and then I want to see my team bat. So it is the attention span, which is changing amongst youngsters. They don't have the
Yeah.
time to watch cricket for 8 hours, for that length of time. Especially when you have everything on your phone these days. If you don't have a television set, so they choose the right time to go. So the best way would be curtail it to 40 overs and get on with it, and make it quick. When there's a rain delay, start from where the rain stopped instead of adding that 1 hour and 2 hours and all that. You got to revisit the rules and look into what the modern world demands, and that is they want it quick and fast and exciting.
Yeah.
Sure.
Agreed. Yeah, as Gilly mentioned, we have some regular segments on the show, and one of them is the playbook player of the round. Now, Maxi was very lucky. He got it last week ahead of Ben Stokes, who Vaughan put forward, and mentions for Pat Cummins. So how this works is normally we ask for them, but this is a special episode, so we're going to do something special. So what Playbook do? They're in Australia. They help find sports coaches and mentors in all sports, all abilities. And given you were such a phenomenal coach as well, and seeing it all, who are you putting forward if you're like saying speaking to an adult, a child, anyone as technically the most gifted cricketer, if you could just replicate anything that you've ever come across? Because I'm guessing, and Maxi said this himself, it may not be what he was doing with the ramps and paddles and everything else. So who for Playbook would be your number one to look at?
I would say Tendulkar across all formats. The player I've seen who adapted, adjusted, and was consistent in whatever he did, and brought that pure element into batting. That purity of his game was such, it was very difficult to replicate. You'll get better run getters. You'll get people who may score more runs at a faster pace. Guys will come with more power. But you mentioned the word technique, so I'm coming to that. That made batting look, that easy. And even when he was scoring quickly, it was all proper cricketing shots that came naturally. Front foot, back foot, bouncy track, turning track. One day cricket. He didn't play much of T20 cricket, test match cricket, batting number 4 in a one day game, opening the batting. He was sensational. There were very little changes he had to make because it all came naturally to him. And there was a element of purity about his game and his technique, which I have not seen with too many.
Okay.
Fair call. Fair call.
Rav, just on Sachin and the statue at the Wankhede. Do you think Sachin's proud of the Steve Smith look, or
And don't even go there. I've not even met him. I've not asked him, but I'd like to pick his brain. What do you think? Where did you play that shot? And I know from his face whether he's happy with that statue or he's not happy with the statue because it won't take me long to know. Where did you play this shot? It's one heck of a shot, and then I'll just know from his face uh, when he begins to answer as to what he thinks of that statue.
It's an interesting look, isn't it? Hey, Rav, Vaughan was able to lure out of a previous guest of ours, Roloff Vondermuth, who is our favourite cricketer, brought to the table by Vaughan. He's been on the orange bandwagon through the whole tournament, and obviously, the air's been taken out of their final game. Roloff was confident that his mob. Well, a week ago, he was confident they were going to knock over your boys in a couple of days, but the air's been taken out of it now that the finalists look like they're settled. But we lured out of him the type of dog. His nickname's Bulldog, but he doesn't have a bulldog. He's got an interesting specimen of dog. But Vaughan was telling us something about your dog, or it's got something unique or special that that not many people know.
I have five dogs.
Just the 5, the handful.
Yeah, and you know their names. It's Bouncer, Beamer, Yorker, Flipper, Skipper. Okay, Bouncer is a black lab. Beamer is a chocolate brown lab, right? Yorker is a comboy. He's from the border of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, right up hardy, typical Indian dog. and he goes like a rocket. He'll slip under your legs before you realize anything. So he's the Yorker. Okay, then I didn't want another one. Then the last one that was brought was a golden retriever. So I said I named him Skipper. I said I've got four. Now you captain the other mob. So Skipper is in charge of them. Unfortunately, Bouncer passed away about 3 weeks ago, so I have to
Oh,
look for a replacement. But otherwise, they are my doggies.
And
very
you,
cool.
you have your dog, Rav. I was very lucky to get on the boat over the bay there in Mumbai to your place. We had a bit of a day out there, didn't we? Just sitting
Yes.
around, and one of our bosses actually at Fox Gilly, Matt Weiss, was with us.
Oh,
And
shock me.
he had a little bit of a time in the pool, didn't he, Rav?
Yeah, he did. He did. I mean, he came out fresh as a daisy. Let me tell you that. Yeah.
Was it intentional time? Did he know he was going in?
Check that with Matty. Check that with Matty. Vaughan was he was the observer there.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
No, but it's
Quality
nice.
controller.
It's a nice part of the world. Mumbai is like as Vaughan would tell you, you've been there, Gilly. It's a vibrant city, and it's at this moment of time, it's rocking. It's the weather changes, it gets a little cooler, and it's such a cosmopolitan city now. You've got people from from various disciplines who operate out of Bombay, and just the energy in that city and the drive is unreal. So to get across the water, Mumbai used to be 7 islands, and the mainland is where we went across Vaughan, and that's the coastline of India starts from there, and it's a nice part of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely
Yeah,
part. Well,
indeed.
we're a big fan of that part because a lot of our fans are from there. And I was checking the SmartB socials this week, and people have been asking for you since episode 1, Ravi. Everyone been saying, let's get him on, let's get him on. But one comment really stood out to me on the SmartB socials. And I don't know if you've heard, but Gilly and Vaughany, with myself in the back, are launching a tequila company, El Shito. It's a beautiful brand. And the whole time we've been looking for someone who's super cool, marketable, and with the moustache. And neither Gilly or Vaughany have put you forward. But now Travis' head has shaved. We will talk money offline, but thoughts and interests?
Oh yeah, it'll be perfect.
Good technique. Good technique. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it has been the inspiration of the entire podcast.
It's popular in in our part of the world. In Mumbai, it's a popular drink.
There we go. There we go.
That is good. Good to hear.
You're a front runner, Rav. You're a front runner to be on the bottle there.
Yep.
Nice bottle, El Shito with Ravi Shastri on the front.
I think an idea is
what a name.
We'll have to post on our socials the original label that I came up with. I don't think it's going to stack up with one next to your good self if your branding's on there. But mate, I do know. I know. We're mindful of time. We don't want to hold you up too long. I know Vaughany's got a particular request that he's really keen.
Yeah.
Over to you, Vaughany. You did discuss this, didn't you?
I mean, Ian Smith and yourself, for me, are my two favourites on commentary. Smith, he captures the moment. He's incredible. But I have to say, Rav, you've just mentioned, actually, that the crowd would wait for the toss decision and then they come in late. I disagree with you. I think most people want to be inside that ground for the toss. And the reason being that there's no one better. There's no one better at delivering the toss to get that crowd going. Now, I was wondering, I mean, I've no question, semi-final, India, New Zealand, Wankhede, you're going to be out there in the middle. Is that right, doing the toss?
I don't know. I've not seen the roster as yet. We still have to wait.
Rav,
who will be semi-finalists would be. There's still a couple of games to go.
You will be
It'll be good. It'll be good to be out there. It'll be a packed house with India playing. Yeah.
Yes, and you'll also do the final, no question. I know how these production companies work. They want the best doing the key games. I wondered, so the semi-final versus India, New Zealand, you're out there. Can we do a bit of a rehearsal? Can you give us a little bit?
I can never do a rehearsal. I'm the worst at rehearsals. It's, when it goes 10, 8, 7, 6, bang, off you go, It's it's sudden adrenaline that comes in, kicks in, and you take off. So, and it just happens there.
Well, let's try it now then, Rav, just for the pod. So I'm going to count you in, and you're out. Just visualize yourself. You're in the middle of the Wankady now. You've got the two skippers. I've no idea who the match referee is, and we'll count you in. We'll go from 5, Rav. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
There is a buzz around the ground. It's toss time. We'll wait for the rest.
I love it.
Absolutely. It's World Championship boxing stuff, isn't it? And it's the razzmatazz. It's everything you mentioned, Rav, about what the modern consumer wants. It's taking it to the younger generation and giving it the life and breathing life into it that they need.
Absolutely. I mean, you did that with your batting. I mean, you were the entertainer and you gave us a lot of joy. I promise you, when I didn't play against you, but did so many games when you batted, and the world wants to see entertainers. They and characters and personalities. So when you talk of the Shane Warne, the Adam Gilchrist, the Ben Stokes now in the game, they want those kind of personalities. Virat Kohli in your face. The game sometimes needs those characters. To get the people even more involved and engaged with the proceedings. And it could be from the broadcasting side, it could be from the playing side, it could be multiple areas that can all help in just keeping the sport alive.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
Absolutely. And Vaughany, I'm going to say I thought you were super exciting as well by putting Kevin Peterson in fielding positions in 2005, knowing he'd drop it every time to keep the series alive. I thought that was an exciting captain's move.
Yeah. I can never talk about catching. Just Rav, just quickly on Virat Kohli. I mean, he's one away from 50.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't rule it out, would you, in a semi-final or a World Cup final, in getting to that incredible landmark?
Absolutely. It might be even before that, because when such players get on a roll, you don't know. They just start stringing hundreds, for fun. And, he went through 3 years where, he couldn't come close to 100. Didn't look like coming close to 100. It was a combination of mental fatigue. It was a combination of, things just not going right, the rub of the green not going your way. But the fact of the matter is, right through that period, he never lost that drive or that zest or the passion for the game, which is the reason why he's doing so well, today. When he's got the opportunity, you can see that hunger, you can see the look in his eyes, which I saw from the first game of the World Cup, which suggests to me that he is extremely.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. He's been the benchmark for sure. Rav, the other quick thing that we do with, if we ever have the privilege of a guest, and certainly one of your stature, we have a quiz where Vaughany and I, Ollie knocks it together, and it's generally around detail and information about our guests. And Vaughany and I have a stab in the dark at the quiz answers, and you can be possibly the quiz master to say correct or incorrect, or I don't know. It's a little bit loose, mate. Put it that way. But I'm going to hand it over to Ollie. But before we do, maybe I know that you don't rehearse your big toss announcements, but maybe knowing you got Vaughany in one corner and Gilchrist in another, maybe very quickly, just a one-liner on each, as if you're 3, 2, 1, action. We're live. You happy to do that for us? The Ravi Shastri quiz.
I'll do it. In the energy corner is Adam Gilchrist, and still recovering from last night. At the Willingdon, it's a very pale corner, and it's worn. Here we go.
Perfect. Well, we'll never beat an intro. But that is great, and we're going to go into it right now. So it's all about you three guys. So very simple. We'll go through it. Number one, what is higher? Ravi's ODI bowling average, Gilly's ODI batting average, or Vaughany's first-class batting average? And shout out the answers when you've got them. So you can just...
What is higher?
What is higher? Ravi's ODI bowling, Gilly's ODI batting, or Vaughany's first-class batting?
Ooh.
First class. Does that include tests?
Yeah. Yep. Ooh,
I think Vaughany's batting, I think.
Ravi's
Vaughany. I'm going with Vaughany as well. As the answer there.
I don't think so. I'm going Gilly's one day.
Gilly. Yeah.
Gilly.
We've got Ravi's one-day bowling, 36.04. Gilly's one-day batting, 35.89. Vaughan's first-class batting, 36.95. So,
Hey.
Vaughan.
Whoa.
So 1 point to Gilly and Ravi.
Yep.
To question number 2. This is just between Gilly and Ravi. Who had the higher test score? Gilly or Ravi?
I commentated on Gilly's double hundred in Johannesburg, 202. Fastest double hundred then in Test cricket. Mine was 206. I put me.
You may have given Gilly the answer.
I'll go
I'm
Ravi.
4 runs or 5 runs ahead of Gilly. I
I'll
think.
go Ravi.
I'll go Ravi too.
That's very good of Ravi. It was
2 runs.
2 runs, 204 not out for Gilly, 206 Ravi. So 2-2-1 is the score. Okay, this one is just Ravi and Vaughan. Who had more first-class half centuries?
First class half centuries.
Yeah,
First
batting.
class.
Has to
Ravi.
be Vaughan. Has to be Vaughan. At the top of the order, adding Yorkshireman.
But you played millions of games back in the day.
No, what? In first class cricket? No.
You
would have
were
played.
part of the 3-day era, weren't you? You used to play 2-3-day games a week.
Yeah, that in cricket, yes.
I'll tell you what, Vaughan played 268, Ravi 245.
There you go.
Oh,
no.
all right.
Yeah, he's got a head start. 23 bloody games.
Ravi's gone Vaughan.
Oh, I've no idea. I'll go myself.
What were the games?
268, 245.
Right. I'm gonna say Vaughany, I reckon.
Ravi and Gilly go Vaughan. Vaughan.
Yeah, Vaughan, 100%.
What are you going? What are you saying?
I'm gonna go. All right, I'm gonna go Ravi because I think he got loads in India as well.
Ravi 66, Vaughan 68.
There you
So
go.
the score is 3-3-1. Last 2 questions.
I'm having a stinker.
What is higher? Gilly's sixes in T20, not international, so T20s. Ravi's test innings or Vaughan's first-class career catches? So Gilly's sixes in T20 cricket. Ravi's test innings batting or Vaughan's first-class career catches?
Catches taken or opportunities?
Successful.
Because that's a landslide.
I would say Gilly should win this hands down. I mean, he was hitting sixes for fun.
80 tests.
So it should be, my choice would be Gilly. Sixes.
Gilly. Okay, Ravi's gone Gilly.
I'm going to say Ravi's innings played.
You're saying each other, Vaughan?
Yep.
I think you're quite funny. I reckon it's my catches.
No. Okay, your catches were 118. Gilly's sixes 120. Ravi's innings 121.
Oh, yes.
Vaughan's drop catches 128. Would have had it.
Is that all?
So that's 4-3-1. Last question.
Yeah.
What is higher? Vaughan's ODI 50s, Ravi's ODI 50s, or Gilly's ODI 100s?
Oh, it can't be me.
ODI 100s, you got about... I got quite a few. Did I get a few 50?
I'll go Vaughany on this. I'll go Vaughany.
Vaughany should be
No, Ravi. Ravi.
No, Vaughany should be ahead. At the top of the order, one day.
So Vaughan's going Ravi and Gilly are going Vaughan.
Yep.
Vaughan, you had 16 half centuries. Gilly, you had 16 centuries. Ravi, you had 18.
I got one.
Vaughan got back, but Gilly wins the quiz. But a great
Beauty, I'm back. It's been a barren spell for a while.
Just time for the toast, I think.
Yeah. No, we will. I will get to that.
Absolutely. So what we do here, Ravi, is just say thank you, and we give a big cheers to
whatever's happening. I was just going to say, it kind of getting that time of the day in India, 12 o'clock. It's the pool is very inviting. It's thirsty, I'm glad you're
yes.
Hey, Rav, just on it's India's to lose, isn't it? This World Cup now with the way they're playing.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, it's just that handling pressure on those 2 days, but man for man, skill factors, home conditions. You're right. It's for them to lose it.
And who do you see as the team that can, improbably, as you just say, take the title off them of the three? Let's say New Zealand are in. I mean, Pakistan need to score
Gilly,
300 and bomb out for 12 or something.
Gilly, 5th of October, when India played the 8th of October, when India played their first game against Australia, I was asked, what do you think of this game? I said, you know what I think? It might just be a dress rehearsal before the final.
Mm.
So that's the
You
game
might be
for
right.
me.
I agree.
All righty. Well, we will be watching with interest. Rav, this we mentioned our favourite beverage, all taken responsibly and in moderation, but it is a little tequila, and we put a few drops of Tabasco sauce in there just to add that spicy flavour, which is representative of the current World Cup that we're in your land, your homeland. But I'll just do initially the little cheers to you, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
It's an
absolutely.
absolute pleasure to have you on here. And also, a very quick cheers. I forgot to do this in our last pod. Congratulations, Meg Lanning, on a remarkable cricketing career. She took the female game up to a new level and has taken a lot of players along the ride and journey with her. And by the time this comes out, or certainly within a day or two, happy Diwali to all our Indian friends wherever you are around the world. But here's to you all. Cheers, guys.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
And,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well done.
Perfect.
I like the mime. But
Ready,
there you go.
ready for a proper pint now.